Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be continuing my Magic the Gathering Basic series, where I'm kind of starting off by just going through the color pie. If you saw my first video, I would recommend you go check that out if you don't know anything about Magic or the color pie or anything like that, because otherwise you might be confused about like what it is. You'll probably be able to find it on the site there, or it'll be linked somewhere, probably at the end of the video where I do the cards. What? I'm getting distracted. But yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about the colors blue and black. Individually, not blue-black. That's something different entirely when you're talking about them together. But no, just blue and black separately. The first half will be blue, second half will be black. Okay, that was self-explanatory. What did I say? But yeah. So talking about blue. So blue is the second color if you're looking at Wilberg order, which is the order that the color pie is typically presented in. So white, blue, black, red, green. And blue is first and foremost the color of knowledge and, in extent, like academic knowledge. It's probably its most like associated with things. So people who are blue are very motivated by the pursuit of knowledge and acquisition of knowledge for their own ends and own means. Blue characters typically think themselves smarter than those around them, whether they are or not. Although, I mean, they often have a lot of more raw expertise, just because of their focus on knowledge and the pursuit thereof. Their pursuit of knowledge is in many ways kind of like knowledge for knowledge's sake. Whereas like a white character, like I talked about, might want knowledge and it's leading to power and whatnot, for the sake of the greater good and the common goals of the society. But blue characters, knowledge is an end in and of itself, and that pursuit is what worth going for. So, yeah. So blue characters, I think, run the largest gambit of explicitly evil characters and explicitly good characters, and just very even distribution of those characters, just because there are lots of like really good people who are blue. Like if you look at like the current story, Jace, which is like one of the blue member of the Gatewatch, he is like pretty much in what's the word? Inarguably, he's a good person. He's a heroic figure. Back in like some of the older days, maybe not so much. I should totally do a video on Test of Metal. Yeah. But yeah. So the okay, side note, Test of Metal is one of the novels of Magic. It's wild. It's widely considered to be not canon because there's a lot of weird things that happen in it. It's a trip. Okay, now I really want to do a video on Test of Metal. But yeah, no, it's interesting, and Jace is in there, and there's like Jace Liliana stuff going on, and yeah, but I digress. Playing outside. I actually don't know if you can pick that up in over here. I finally actually got a pop filter and cover for this mic, so yeah, I'm really good at staying on topic. But blue, that's what I was talking about. But yeah, but on the other hand, there's like lots of very like clearly like evil and nefarious characters in blue. Words that mean things. What's her name? The new Phyrexian Praetor. Okay, the Praetors are the easy thing to say, where it's like, oh, because like to find the evil example in all the colors, since there's like the story goes out of the way to make sure it's saying that the Phyrexian is one of the biggest bads of the game. It can be found all across the color pie, and there's no one of them that is like immune to the effect. Like none of them are none of the colors are immune to the allure of Phyrexian perfection. Yeah. So, but God, what's her name? It's gonna bug me forever now. It was even in Iconic Masters, so I should know that. But yeah, but then other characters like Tezzeret, if we go back to Test of Metal, who's like, yes, cares about like knowledge and Ethereum, and all that, but like it comes back to very much more nefarious ends, and it's kind of like that when all Blue cares about is knowledge for knowledge itself. What they do with it is really not defined by the color. It's just they have that emphasis on it. But mechanically, blue is my favorite color. I love blue so much. It's also historically one of the strongest colors. Like if you look at a lot of older formats, most decks will be, if they're not running like mono red or something, they will be running blue. Oftentimes, just because blue is incredibly powerful. It has some of the best response. It's very proactive in its responses against people, because it's the only color with real access to counter magic. I don't count Mana Tithe, even though I run Mana Tithe in all my white decks. Mana Tithe is the one counter spell in white. There might be others, but it's the one that most people might run. But it's not as strong as any of the blue magic, the blue counter magic. But yeah, no, it's blue is probably the most popular color in terms of mechanically. Just because it is so powerful. There's a reason if you look at like the island, if any given basic land, if it's like a cycle of lands that like people want to get, blue is the most. The islands are usually the most expensive one. But yeah. Speaking of which, I need to get rid of some of the unstable islands I've opened. I've played so much unstable. It's great. Lily, get back on track. Don't stop. I'm bad at this, okay? It's been a long night. But yeah, no, but mechanically, they're all about, counter magic. They don't really remove things from the board. The way they deal with creatures and other threats is they bounce it to the owner's hand. They might tap it down temporarily or indefinitely, and things like that, where it doesn't outright kill anything. So it's very, very subtle in what it's done. Blue is the least creature-focused of the colors, so you're not going to be swinging in with huge creatures to win the game. It's usually very incremental advantage and whatnot with blue. I don't count Eekmouth and Nexus. That doesn't count. But yeah, no, it's I mean, obviously because it is blue and like islands and whatnot, it's highly associated with like sea creatures. Race-wise, it's most associated with the merfolk, which makes sense. Blue, water, merfolk. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's very like I said, incremental. It has lots of access to evasion via flying, via unblockable, or other similar types of effects. But yeah, no, it has some to do with the graveyard, but not super much. Like if it cares about the graveyard, it cares about putting things into it. It's one of the main colors, along with black, of the mill strategy, where In a game of Magic, normally you win by getting your opponent's life to 0, but there is an alternate win condition built in regardless of format. If you go to draw a card from your library and you can't because there's no library cards left there, you lose the game. And there's an archetype across many formats called Mill, which you're essentially trying to put all of the cards in your opponent's deck into their graveyard or exile, or just get them out of their deck so they mill out and you win the game. And blue is the primary color for that strategy. But there's also things like it's also decent about putting stuff in your own graveyard to enable it later for like reanimation and other things. For example, my Sidisi deck, which I've done a video on, does mill in the mills itself to make zombies, and a lot of its mill comes from its blue side. Yeah. But otherwise, it does some stuff with the graveyard otherwise when it comes to like instants and sorceries, but not very much. Like, you're not going to be interacting with creatures and stuff from there, and much less interacting with your opponent's graveyards besides filling them up. But yeah, but like I said, blue is my favorite color because my favorite 3 words in Magic are counter target spell. I'm just like, I like countering spells. I like watching the joy drain from my opponent's eyes. Okay, not really watching the joy from, it's less the joy in my eyes and more the relief I get. Now I don't have to deal with whatever they're trying to cast because I countered it. I'm just very paranoid. How dare you cast spells that I might not want to deal with? How dare you? Or anything. Other things that blue is good at, it is the best color for drawing cards. I mean, every color has its own ways of drawing cards and whatnot, but blue is the best. It'll draw you a lot of cards. It'll draw them efficiently and well, and yeah, no, it's the color of knowledge. It wants to get you more access to more of your spells and whatnot like that. So it's very good at that sort of thing. And tonight we just have an English breakfast tea. I haven't actually talked about my tea in much of my videos lately. It's a shame. Mid-video side note, I still don't know what's going on with my video. It doesn't show up. It doesn't happen on when I take the pictures from my thumbnail. It's a really weird aspect ratio. I still gotta figure it out. But why do I do this right in the middle of videos? Bad Lily. I do things at a very highly polished frame reference and whatnot. But yeah, no, blue characters you'll find in blue is, like I said, you'll find a lot of aquatic creatures and whatnot. Scholars, like obviously scholars you'll find in blue. Otherwise, wizards are of like the classes you'll find, because I mean it makes sense, wizards are all about knowledge and you'll find them in blue. But yeah, no, the Vidalcan are in blue. They're weird blue people. It's very subtle why they're in blue. But yeah, so blue also has a fair amount to do with artifacts along with red, but it isn't specifically pronounced in general. It usually comes up when there's an actual, like, more specific emphasis on artifacts. So things like Kaladesh and Origins and Mirrodin. Blue has a little bit more stuff going on for artifacts than maybe some of the other colors do. But yeah, so, well, that's me rambling about blue. That could have been more cohesive, but hopefully it makes me more cohesive for my next section I'm talking about. Black. Black, above all else, is the color of ambition. Black gets what black wants. Black characters are motivated by the pursuit of power and influence, and they don't really care about what they have to do to get there. Like the main poster child black character in the story right now is Liliana Vess, a necromancer who has gained power over the hundreds of years by all sorts of questionable means, be it just like outright manipulation of other people, selling her soul to demons, and then proceeding to murder those demons to like get her soul back. I mean, very well thought out plans. But no, like she goes out of the way to get what she wants, and they've been kind of like projecting her as like an anti-hero type thing. She's evil. She only cares about herself. Like, yeah, she has feelings for some people, but not really. They're very black is a very selfish color. Not to say they don't care about other people, but if they do, they care about the people close to them. But it's not, they don't care about people for their own value. They are the if you'll find very few truly good characters in blue. You'll find lots of, in black. You'll find lots of like anti-hero types, so like Liliana in the Eldritch Moons saga, or Yeheni in Kaladesh. But you'll find very few like overtly words that mean things. Militia are benevolent black characters, like, because it's the color of ambition of themselves. They are looking for that within themselves and those they care about first and foremost. And that's what matters to them. Black is very good mechanically about, first of all, it's the best at removal. Like, black is just really good at destroying stuff, which makes sense because it's a lot of the color of like necromancy and like the dead, and both dealing with the dead and making things dead themselves. But yeah, black is highly, like I said, like it's highly associated with like necromancers and zombies and vampires and all those sorts of like dark creatures. In terms of like wild animals, things like rats and bats, and what other animals are black? Those are the main two. Is like kind of like the main large things. But like kind of like the things on the outskirts, that live in the spaces in between a lot of like civilization and whatnot. But yeah, no, mechanically though, it's very good at it. Black is also very good at drawing cards, but usually at some price, usually at your own life total. Black uses its own life total as a resource a lot of times, so they can pay life to do different effects and things like that. And they're just very efficient if you can pay the price for it. Black also mechanically, once you like one of the major like archetypes in black is that black wants you to play more black. Cards like Cabal Coffers and Urborg are one of those like classical examples where Cabal Coffers is a land that you can pay 2 and tap it to add mana equal to the number of swamps you control, and so it just wants you to have lots of swamps, so you're playing more black. Black is commonly also going to have a lot of require lots of specifically black mana. It requires all a very high devotion to black to pay for its stuff. Like, it wants you to stay within the realm of ambition and greed and whatnot. Black's creatures are kind of fall into like almost 2 categories. There is a very aggressive side of black, which is talking like kind of the you're going, I might be hurting myself, but I'm taking you with me, kind of like aggression. There's also like the very long game, like let's slowly build up over incremental advantage and maneuver all of my minions into place before getting like some like large threat at the end. I'm talking things like Grizzlebrand or reanimating large things, bringing things back from the graveyard to the battlefield under your control, and recurring creatures that keep coming back and back and back. And that's really what black is all about. It's this relentlessness, and oftentimes, like, because you have to pay steeply for the costs of playing black, black is therefore is very powerful, to make up for that weakness in it. Like, philosophically, I associate least with black, but black is probably one of the colors I find myself playing the most. It's a playstyle I really like. I like its versatility for being a very mid-range color, where it isn't super aggressive, it can be super aggressive, but it fits well in the middle. It can get a lot done, and it just I find it's a nice balance of what I like to do in games. Words that mean things. Because like I said, I like countering spells, but I mean just being able to like efficiently kill their stuff too. I mean, it's not as nice a feeling, but I mean it's there. It feels good. I mean, it's still no like blue or green, but it's easily my third favorite color to play. But yeah, no, but like black characters are interesting because there's a lot of debate in the community about like wanting more like black, like explicitly like heroic black characters, and that almost goes against like what a black character is. Like, they used to be black if they're more like selflessly heroic. And there's just been call for like, oh, let's have a black colored protagonist and whatnot. And you really can't go beyond, I feel, more than a black anti-hero. Just because, not to say that they aren't like, and I'm also talking about mono black. I feel like if you were going to have a not to go into hybrid colors too much, I feel like you could have like a black hero in like black green, like with someone like Vraska and stuff, depending on the plot line. But it just, I feel like it doesn't come up as much. People don't give that enough credit. Where I feel like a lot of people who like almost a lot of people also who don't pay attention to the story, focus on a lot about being like, oh, I want, like, why is always all the good characters in white and like all these evil ones in black? But it's like, that really isn't the case. Like, there is a good balance of both in each, and I don't think that is as much of a problem as some people like make to him. Like, each of these the color pie, like, yes, it isn't the standard division of tropes and whatnot, but it still has, it still is kind of like that idea where, like, yeah, Liliana did help you out, help everyone out, and like help save the day in Eldritch Moon, but ultimately it wasn't because it was the right thing to do. It was ultimately because, yeah, she somewhat cared about like not having her home destroyed, and gaining the favor of other people. But yeah, no, but I don't know. I don't know where I was going about this rant. But yeah, so, I don't know. Yeah, but those are a little bit of a shorter video, but that's essentially kind of like the basics of the colors of black and blue and black. It's, there's so much nuance that for on a surface level video, it's hard to get into. And I'll probably, as the series go on, go a little bit deeper and deeper into each of the colors, especially when you get into pairing them with the other colors and whatnot. There will just be one more video of the basic color pie videos, or the red and green video. And if you can tell me any other topics you want me to cover, besides talking more about like the color pie itself, which I feel like I really enjoy as a the defining feature of magic. I feel like there's a lot to talk about there, but I mean, is there anything that would fall under the category of MtG Basics that you would want me to like talk about and do like a video, or at least part of a video in the series? Yeah, so as I think about it there, finally, after the hectic holidays, getting the swing of making videos, even if I am very unfocused and can't pay attention and keep on track for 2 seconds. But yeah, I hope you found something in this helpful, or and learned something, or if you already play Magic, you probably knew all of this already. But yeah, got to do a test of metal video. Yeah. I do want to do some more stuff with Magic lore, specifically because I've had some requests on that, so looking to doing that in the future. But alright then, I hope you have a good night, I hope you sleep well. Alright.